Нічки, всім доброго дня. Сьогодні п'ятниця, гарна погода і гарний день сказати про те, що я хочу залишити всі свої пояси, якими я сьогодні володію, зробити їх вільними, щоб хлопці, які стоять в черзі, за ними боксували. Друзі, я залишаю пояси, але я не йду зі спорту, тому що в мене є last dance. Всім хочу подякувати, з повагою відношусь до всіх організацій, хочу всім подякувати і сказати далі більше. Слава Богу за все, слава Україні!
Wow, ladies and gentlemen. The heavyweight division has officially opened up. I'm talking about opened up. As when Terrence Bud Crawford moved up to the 168-pound division to become a 3-time undisputed world champion and take on Canelo Alvarez. Beats the man, decides to retire from the sport of boxing. What happens in the super middleweight division? It opens up. Bro, it's breaking news that Oleksandr Usyk has officially decided. This man dropped the video that I just showed you guys in the beginning. Oleksandr Usyk decides he's gonna vacate all his titles, not just the WBC title, which a lot of people were expecting due to 4 days from now, June 30th, the time period given between Oleksandr Usyk's team and Ajit Caballe's team to be able to negotiate a fight. The WBC ordered this fight immediately right after Rico Verhoeven versus Oleksandr Usyk took place. Ajit Caballel fighting for his position. We're 4 days away from purse bid coming, and Oleksandr Usyk has decided to not go through with that fight. Has decided to not only vacate his WBC title, but also vacate his WBA title and his IBF title. Bro, yes, the division is opened up. Now Oleksandr Usyk says he's not retiring from the sport of boxing, as you heard. But the dude isn't just going to face anybody that these sanctioning bodies are trying to make him face. He said he had a 3-fight plan back on the ring show, Inside the Ring, with Max Kellerman and these dudes. He said he had a 3-fight plan, which is to face Rico Verhoeven, then face the winners out of Danny LeBlanc and Fabio Worley, which we know that's not happening for sure now. As Oleksandr Usyk announces, he possibly only has 1 fight left. We'll see how that ends up turning out. But Usyk has decided that's it. He's gonna be chasing another big fight. Now, I don't know if he's signing over to Zuffa Boxing. I don't know what this man is gonna do next. But it's not over when it comes to the career of Oleksandr Usyk. As for fighting for a sanctioning body world title, it is over. Now, what does this mean for the heavyweight division? Dude, anything can happen when it comes to these sanctioning bodies, but I'm going to give you guys a little example, and I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on what should happen and what is going to happen. I want to compare this to the super middleweight division. What happened when Terrence Bud Crawford retired from the sport of boxing? Let's start off with the IBF. What did the IBF do? They ordered Osleys Iglesias, who had won a title eliminator fight. They ordered Osleys Iglesias to fight Canelo Alvarez. Y'all remember that? Canelo Alvarez turns it down. Says he's still recovering from AVO surgery. Even though about a week or 2 weeks later, the dude announces with Tricky Lashik his fight with Christian Mabili. It wasn't the exact opponent named in Christian Mabili yet. But y'all, if y'all been keeping up with the channel, when that news dropped, bruh, it was Christian Mabili the whole time. It's been Christian Mabili since last year. If y'all really focused on the moves that the WBC was doing with Christian Mabili. Now, the IBF ordered that fight. Canelo turns it down. The IBF orders Osleys Iglesias versus Jaime Munguia. Jaime Munguia turns that down. Now, at the time, we didn't know what Jaime Munguia was stirring up, what was cooking up, but he was negotiating with Armando Resendiz. behind the scenes. At the time, I was a little disappointed in Jaime Munguia for turning down this fight with Oleksandr Usyk as it was a world title shot. But everything ended up playing out fine for Jaime Munguia. Now, since he wasn't able to land a fight with either of those fighters, Oleksandr Usyk ends up fighting Pavel Siligagan on April 9th for the vacant IBF super middleweight title. Oleksandr Usyk ends up becoming champion. So when I look at what the IBF did with Oleksandr Usyk and I look at the IBF rules, Frank Sanchez, rated #1, is also a fighter who's coming off just like Oleksandr Usyk won the title eliminator. Frank Sanchez is coming off a title eliminator fight in beating Richard Torres Jr. So I believe this is what should happen. And what will happen is Frank Sanchez will be involved in a world title clash for the vacant belt. Now the question is, who's that going to be against? I don't know. Because when you look up the IBF heavyweight rankings, dude, everybody is booked. Who's this guy going to step in there against? #6 rated Javelin? Or #9 rated Deontay Wilder? As everybody else, look at these rankings. It's booked up. Bro, I don't know who they're going to end up putting to face Frank Sanchez for the vacant IBF heavyweight title. But I believe that's what they're going to do next. We're going to have to see when an announcement comes out. Now, for the WBC, what did the WBC do? When Terrence Bud Crawford retired and they had to make a decision on what to do next, the WBC ordered Christian Mabili to face Hamza Shiraz for the vacant WBC super middleweight title. Now, reports were that negotiations got stalled out, that Hamza Shiraz was looking to go over and face Diego Pacheco for the WBO bout, which was true. Hamza Shiraz had came out a video and explained that some of the heads above in Turkey Al-Sheikh, some dudes wanted a specific fight for Christian Mabili. They pushed him towards that WBO route to set up Canelo Alvarez and Christian Mabili. Ladies and gentlemen, Christian Mabili was ordered to have an automatic rematch against Lester Martinez. What happened with that? Bruh, it's been known for a long time now. If you've been keeping up with my channel, y'all seen the moves that they did with Christian Mabili to be able to put him in his position, get him elevated, which he was. He was the WBC interim super middleweight champion, got elevated to full world champion, and is now facing Canelo Alvarez on that Mexico versus the world card in September. So, you look at the WBC heavyweight division. We've got a WBC interim heavyweight champion. Who that is? It's Ajit Caballero. What did they do with Mabili? They elevated this guy. What have they did with a lot of people in the past? They elevate them. Ajit Caballero, in my opinion, will be elevated to the full WBC heavyweight champion of the world. Now, can something else happen? Who knows? Will they force him to fight somebody for the vacant title? I don't think so. But we'll end up having to see how this ends up playing out. That's what I believe is going to happen for the WBC heavyweight rankings. Now, as for the WBA, there's another problem. And I think the problem assists with the super bout that Oleksandr Usyk had. Compared to when Terrence Bud Crawford retired from the sport and the super middleweight division opened up, Armando Resendiz was the WBA interim champion, had just beat Caleb Plant on, I would say, the underdog of the year win for Armando Resendiz. This man was the interim WBA champ, and he actually became the full WBA champ by being elevated, but became the first champion in that super middleweight division after Terrence Bud Crawford's retirement. That's facts. Look it up. Armando Resendiz, who faced Jaime Munguia and lost his title, the man was elevated to full world champion. So, I look at the WBA rankings and who their champions are right now, and it's a completely different thing. In this case, you've already got a WBA regular champion, and you had a WBA super champion. I believe what they should do is delete the super status bout. Usyk is retiring. There's no point in putting another champion as a super champion. Just get rid of that bout already. The WBA had made an announcement last week that they were making changes to their sanctioning body because they got too many world titles. They decided to cut off the Bridgerweight division. I think the second step is cutting off that super bout. They just upgraded Rolly Romero for no goddamn reason so he can avoid his mandatories. It's a dumb bout. It's a dumb thing. How are you going to have two world champions in the same sanctioning body in the same weight division? Bro, it don't make any sense. I believe they should cut that off, keep Murat Gaziev as their WBA regular champion, and just go from there. I know. There's not a lot of moves to make here. You know, when it comes money-wise for the WBA, maybe they don't like Murat Gaziev as their only champion. Maybe more world titles, that means more sanctioning fees. Maybe they do end up making Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua for the WBA super bout. I don't know what to expect from these guys. You never know. But I believe Murat Gaziev will be ordered to face somebody, and we go from there. I believe that super bout, we should get rid of it, bro. Now, the WBO bout is Daniel Dubois. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna have to see how this all ends up playing out. This is some interesting stuff. Oleksandr Usyk has officially vacated his bouts. There's a lot of different scenarios that can take place here, but we broke it down with you guys today. I want you guys to let me know what you guys think in the comments below. It's some absolutely breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. My goodness, this is the MMA Boxing Addicts channel bringing it to you, and I'm